Hi, I'm Keith Vitali, and welcome to Sidekick Podcast. In this episode, I'm going to switch just a little bit. I want to focus on somebody who I consider one of the best actors of all time, the great Tom Cruise. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is that he just won an honorary Oscar at the 16th January Awards. And I thought it was a great time to share with you some of my thoughts about how great this actor is. Now, there's a lot of reasons why I like this actor. One of them is the fact that not only is he a great actor, he combines incredible action scenes, and most people know by now he performs his own stunts, but he's also able to combine all of this action with very memorable, emotional, dramatic scenes. And I tell you this, I personally think Tom Cruise's best attribute is the fact that he shines the light on other actors. And let me explain. He did a movie with Dustin Hoffman called Rain Man. Great, iconic movie. And Dustin Hoffman goes off to win the Oscar for Best Actor. And then he does another movie called Color of Money, and with co-starring Paul Newman. Paul Newman goes off to win the Oscar for Best Actor. Then he does another movie with Jack Nicholson called A Few Good Men. And again, of course, Jack Nicholson goes off to win the Oscar for Best Actor. So if I was an upcoming actor, actress, or whatever, I'd kill to co-star with Tom Cruise. He's just somebody who's just a fantastic actor, and he shares all of the light that he has on other actors at the same time. So that's what I like. Now, I wanted to share with you some of my top 10 favorite lists, movies, action scenes, or just moments from his movies with you. And I went online and I kind of Googled and checked what other, people had in the head list. And I came to the conclusion is I don't care. I don't care what they think. I have my own personal favorite Tom Cruise moments, and I know the same's true for you. I don't need to read a list to tell me what his top 10 movies are. I'll tell you what my top 10 movies are. Okay, let me start with one, and this is special for me. It's called Risky Business, and he co-starred it with Rebecca De Mornay. Great movie, and he has an iconic dancing scene in there in this underwear, and it just put him on the map when he did this film. But this is the only time in my career I've actually had a connection to Tom Cruise. Variety magazine came out in the 80s, and what they did was they listed the top 10 movies of the week and put that list up. And let me show you why. And get this, Mr. Mom was number one. Tom Cruise's movie, Risky Business, was number two. I co starred in a movie called Revenge of the Ninja with Sho Kosugi, and it was number three, following Risky Business. That's pretty cool. But that's not the coolest. Let me share with you some of the other names on the list. We have Chevy Chase in a National Lampoon Vacation that's very famous. We have Trading Places. Most people have seen that film. The Return of the Jedi, a Star Wars movie. That was a really good movie. So there were some great movies coming out that week. So, and Flashdance. Don't let me forget Flashdance. So, all right, those are just some of the iconic movies that was on that list for that week. So you can see why I'm so proud to be in connection with Tom Cruise. All right, back to my list. Let's go back to A Few Good Men. Now, Tom Cruise started with Jack Nicholson in this film, and the end dramatic scene that everybody talks about is the one where Jack Nicholson's being grilled by really a good-looking Tom Cruise in his uniform, and he looked dashing, but he's just really giving it to Jack Nicholson. And guess what? It's one of the most dramatic scenes in the history of all movies. And it's the scene where Nicholson goes, "You need me on that wall." I remember being there in the audience going, I kind of agree with him. We do need people like Jack Nicholson on the wall like that, but that's a different story. All right, then again, there was The Color of Money, another one of my favorite ones. And he starred again with Paul Newman. But what made this so iconic was that I love the character of Tom Cruise in the film, even more than Paul Newman's. And there's one scene where the camera just dollies around and follows Tom Cruise as he's shooting pool. And Paul Newman said afterwards that he trained Tom Cruise, who really didn't play a lot of pool beforehand, that by the end of the film, he could be considered one of the best pool players in the world. That shows the determination and the focus of this actor. So anyway, he's going around in this one shot, and as the music's playing, and he's singing with the music, and he's just dropping all the balls in the hole, right? And side pocket, and then he gets to one of them, and he's spinning his cue around like a martial artist. That's my connection to martial artist here, and it's just so dynamic. And he's dropping a ball, spinning his cue, and then he looks without looking at the ball. He kind of turns his head like this, looks at the camera, and then he drops the ball in the side pocket. And that defined who Tom Cruise's character was right there. You knew he's a cocky jerk, but he was considered, you could just see he thought of himself as one of the best pool players in the world. What a great film. And then Jerry Maguire. Now, you see, this is not an action film, just like Color of Money wasn't an action film. But here's the thing. In this film, if you don't, if you're not moved emotionally, then you don't have a pulse. You're not even alive. You just need to go ahead and get a knife and stab yourself in the legs just to incite some emotion. Because that one scene in the movie at the end with Renee Zellweger, where he goes, "You complete me," and then she responds, "You had me at hello." If you're not moved by that, then you're not moved. It was just an emotional, fantastic, great film. So everybody loved that film. And then we had Rain Man, of course, with Dustin Hoffman. What made this kind of interesting was the fact that Tom Cruise auditioned for the part of Rain Man, and he wanted to play that part. But I'm kind of glad he didn't get it because I thought Dustin Hoffman just killed in that performance. Did a great job. And then we have one of my favorites of all time, Last Samurai. If you're anything like me and you love great action films, or just films in general, you'll take your favorite ones and watch them over and over and over. And sometimes I hope a year or two goes by so I can go back and relive watching it one more time. And that's how I feel about Last Samurai. He stars with Ken Watanabe. There's great fight scenes, great action battle scenes. And it's just a dramatic, dramatic movie. It is moving like you couldn't believe. It's such a wonderful time period piece. Those are my favorite. Anything to do with history and time pieces like that, period pieces, I love the most. But he started with this girl named Koyuki Taba, and they have a dramatic scene at the end where it's very emotional. The music's playing, and he's saying his goodbye scene before going off to battle. And very little said. It's just how it was filmed and emotionally charged the way the director shot that scene, and it was just dynamic. One of my favorite films of all time. And then we have the more of the action scenes, the Top Guns. I love Top Gun. His relationship with the co-star with Val Kilmer. All the characters in there were great. The Fly the Jets scenes are great. But what I really loved, and this is kind of different from most people that review a film, is the fact that he was on his motorcycle and he was cool as James Bond. And you saw that motorcycle he really made riding motorcycles cool. And I owned a motorcycle at that time, so I was so happy. And also, he was wearing Ray-Ban glasses. He put that company on the map. They had sales just going off the Richter scale after this film. I didn't even know any guys that didn't have a Ray-Ban sunglasses. So, yeah, what a great film. And then we have the Mission Impossibles. There's so many different Mission Impossible films. They're all great. One of my favorite ones, he co-starred with Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is another one of my favorite actors. And they did a dramatic fight scene in the bathroom. Now, I'm a actor, action star, and stuntman myself, and I have total respect and appreciation of what these two pulled off in this dramatic fight scene in the bathroom. I liked Henry Cavill's. He has a little get up and go with his hands, and that he put in the film is just dynamic. So I love that film. And then we have another one, Ghost Protocol, another Mission Impossible. And in this one, he's scaling the highest rise building on the planet Earth. And do you know why no one has ever done that before? Because stuntmen are stupid. Nobody will do that. Tom Cruise did that himself. There's so many other stunts in the films too. He takes a motorcycle and goes off a cliff and skydives. I mean, there's so many. He's flying the jets, and he actually flies the jets. He's that talented. So just kudos to him. And then in my last one, which is pretty cool when you think about it, is Tropic Thunder. Now, It's a Ben Stiller film. He's not even co-starring with Ben Stiller. There's so many other stars in that film, but his character's so memorable that I don't care if you've seen this film once or 20 times, he's the character that you will remember for all time. I was watching it. I couldn't put my finger who this guy is. I kept on watching, going, I know this guy from someplace. And then his character in that film was just nasty and raw, and he's just fantastic. And then he has a great dancing scene that's hilarious at the end. And that's when it hit me. I went, it's Tom Cruise. And that's what's so cool about Tom Cruise. He had a fat suit on, and they put a makeup on and put a bald head cap on him. And oh my gosh, Tom Cruise is one of the best looking actors on this planet, but he didn't care. He took that role for that reason, and kudos to him. And what a great time. All right, that's my list. And listen, I know you guys have your list, and so I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what movies you like the best about Tom Cruise, or which are the memorable scenes in his movies that you like, and share with me. And I'd like to go back and forth with you. And then also, as always, please like and share, and of course, subscribe. Until next time, ciao.